Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, shit. Yay.
Good morning, everyone. It's almost 9 o'clock. Hopefully you can hear me. Terra, if you can hear me, maybe give me a thumbs up. Okay, perfect. We're just we have more people coming on, so we'll just maybe wait a minute and then we'll get things underway. So we'll just be back in about a minute's time. Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name's Lanny McGinnis. I'm President and CEO of the Manitoba Home Builders Association. And on behalf of our event sponsors, the Accurate Technology Group and Federated Insurance, welcome to the third session of the MHBA's Virtual Housing Forum. Thank you all for attending today's webinar. We're right at about 9:01, so let's kick things off with today's session, and we'll start with a quick introduction of today's speaker, Terra Davidson, by our event sponsor.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Rosenberg from the Accurate Technology Group, and we are your sponsor of today's webinar. It is my pleasure to introduce Terra Davidson of the Professional Home Builders Institute. Terra Davidson is a veteran in the home building industry. After graduating with a major in marketing, she joined the Consumer Strategies Group, where she fell in love with the new home building industry. She joined the Calgary Home Builders Association as the managing director of the newly formed Built Green program. Here, she was instrumental in helping the association launch this important initiative to the home building community. The passion for marketing green building led her to Avalon Master Builder, where she started as the brand manager, added service manager, and then sales manager and interior designer, and ultimately landed her as the director of sales and marketing and partner. Terra views herself as a change agent that wants to challenge status quo in the home building industry. Because we have always done it that way, just isn't an answer she can accept. This passion led her to the PHBI, where instruction allows her to work with individuals and teams to help be the best versions of themselves and to build strong teams that work together instead of in departmental silos and always put the customer first. Please join me in welcoming Terra.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to start by sharing my screen here. Good morning, everyone, and hello from snowy Calgary. It's I don't know what kind of weather you're having here or there, but we're having a little bit of a snow day here today. You know, thank you for inviting me to be part of this. I'm really doing a personal exercise in trying to look for the positive in COVID. I'm not going to be thankful for COVID because even though we've been in isolation for something like 92 months or something like that, I'm trying to look for the opportunities that COVID has presented and be positive about it. You know, we still see so many of our officials and our doctors and nurses and health officials and politicians come on and say, you know, guys, I know you're tired, but you got to keep fighting the fight so that we can beat this. And so I'm trying to stay positive about it all. And for me, a positive is that I don't know that I would have got this opportunity to meet you here today had it not been for an opportunity like COVID. Again, I'm not thankful for COVID because I'm not delusional. I haven't lost my mind here. But I am so thankful for this opportunity. If this had been in person, this might have been a very different it might not have been the same opportunity. So thank you very much for letting me come and share something that I'm so passionate about. As I mentioned had mentioned in my bio, I am a home building. I belong in the home building industry. The section that I love the most is sales and marketing. I also work a lot in customer service and customer experience, but I really, really love sales and marketing. And so being able to come here today and present something that's really near and dear to my heart as part of my management style using Smarketing is really an awesome opportunity. So let's get going. So Smarketing is really just simply sales and marketing put together into a fancy marketing term as we that profess to be part of the marketing discipline in life like to do. I have been really, my style of management and leadership in sales and marketing really has always pushed a really cohesive relationship between sales and marketing, always, even before inbound marketing was something that we're going to talk a lot about inbound marketing today. And even before this was a reality that we were using so much inbound marketing, it was still a passion of mine to get sales and marketing really talking. And, there's nothing worse than being the sales manager, the marketing manager, and having the team come in and say, I'm not happy with the results, but not sharing any information in order to help get better results. And so opening up that line of communication. Now, some of you on this call today may say, Terra, my sales and marketing team are great. They talk, they laugh. We have great corporate culture. That's awesome. You're going to need really great corporate culture to have this, to have Smarketing operate in your organization. But I'm going to challenge you to stick with me because I want to talk to you about, yes, maybe they do get along, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about, are they achieving the same goals? Are they working to the same end? So stick with me, even though you say, yes, my sales and marketing department gets along, they have lunch, they do all these wonderful things together. That's amazing. You've got the groundwork there. Let me just challenge you on some of the parts today to make sure that they're really working together towards the same goals. I have been in this industry so long, I remember having to talk. I was a partner at Avalon Master Builder, as they mentioned. We had to sit down and make a decision to join social media. Right? That inbound marketing was not even invented. That's how long I've been in this industry, where we were also afraid to go out on social media and have those forum where customers could tell us if they were upset with us. We were really nervous about that, whether they could let us know that they were unhappy with us. That was the whole worry about social media, blogs, all of those things. And we started to realize that conversation was going to happen anyways, whether or not we wanted to be part of it. So we wanted to have these platforms where customers could share these experiences because with or without us, it was happening. Like I mentioned, I'm calling you from Calgary. I live in a community called Auburn Bay. We have a community page called Rants and Raves, at Auburn Bay Rants and Raves that the community members belong to. And so many times you will see comments like, which builder should I pick from, A, B, or C? And the comments that come. And that's with forums for people to talk about the builders. Imagine if we were in a situation where we hadn't embraced social media and we didn't have a forum for customers to talk about it. There would be a lot more negativity that goes on. So let's talk a lot more about Smarketing and how it relates to inbound marketing and go through this presentation. My next slide is, this is how long I've been in the industry. Traffic reports were actually a paper document that we used to fax in. And if you're joining us on this call today and you don't know what a fax machine is, well, bless your heart. I'm definitely old enough to know what a fax machine is. We used to fax this document in last minute on Sunday before we left the show home. You still are using traffic reports in some way, shape, or form. They may not look the same anymore. Maybe you're just sending an email in every week. Maybe you are keeping a form like this and scanning it, emailing it in. Every course I teach at PHBI, almost every single course that I teach, I challenge everyone. I bring this image up and I say, this to me is one of the most important documents in the company. Everybody in the company is standing around looking at this information. Everybody, I mean, there's other important documents too, but everyone in the company, accounting, you have, sorry, when I speak, for some reason, I always need a tissue with me. accounting, you have important documents like income statement. You have all kinds of important documents, but not everyone in the company can read them and get valuable information. This document has valuable information. You know, accounting looks at it from a, what did we sell? Did we sell spec homes? From a cash flow perspective, management's obviously looking at it, marketing's looking at it. Did we meet the goals as far as how many prospects we got in? How was traffic? Sales is looking at it. How did we do? Even down to construction. Did we sell some spec homes? Are we going to be having some new starts? Everyone looks at it. And the challenge I give to sales teams so often, I've seen this form used so poorly that, you know, at that moment at either 5:40 or 4:45 before the show home closes at 5 and we want to leave a bit early, we're scribbling something on here, or it's 5:05 and we are ready to go, we've got everything done, we're like, oh, we forgot to send the traffic report. And so we're quickly doing it, we're quickly making some scribbles on it and sending it in, and we don't use this tool till its full power. You know, I always say to people, the great thing about this is if this is a paper copy that you're using in your show homes, the thing that this has is a backside where you can write all of that information and tell your story. Sales, tell your story to marketing. And this is really where I used to start the relationship going. Give your prospects a rating. Like maybe looking at this, marketing's going, we got them all the leads they need for this week. They asked for 25 groups of traffic. We got them 25 groups. But sales is saying, hey, those weren't good groups of traffic. So using this document to tell your story. I love an easy prospecting numbering system. I've worked with builders in the past that have a 1 to 10 system. It just gets really confusing. What's the difference between a 7 and an 8? And sometimes in the salespeople will mark the person as a 7.5, and you're going, well, what makes the difference between a 7 and an 8 that you're making a 7.5? I like a simple system. I personally use a 1, 2, 3. 1 being our hottest leads. I either took a hold, I have an appointment with them, or I will have an appointment. Maybe I have a question that I have to follow up with, a pricing exercise I have to do, but I will write this prospect. 2, for me is they're a really good prospect. There's just something in the way that we have to do before we write them. So maybe it's a gift letter, checking financing, maybe it's a house to sell, maybe it's a separation agreement to sign. There's something that's going to make this a little bit longer of a play, that we have some obstacles that we need to work through. And for me, 3s are those community people that come in and visit the show home, that live in the area, that want to see some decorating ideas, just want to see what's happening in the community. One thing that I've really noticed as of late, and I want to pause on that number 3 for a second, because one thing I've really noticed as of late working with sales teams is a lot of sales teams have lost their passion for referrals and for prospecting. They just don't see the potential there. You know, and we're at this time of year where it's end of year, and we're all going to have our spec homes, our end of year spec homes on sale to try and close them before the end of the year. And too often sales teams, all of a sudden, this is when they hit referral and prospecting really hard, and they try and get traffic from it. And referrals and prospecting are one of those things that need to happen all year long. You don't just turn that faucet on and it's not just pressurized and come running out. You need to be working on that constantly. It has to be an exercise they do all through the year. So keeping track of those number 3s, I think, are key all through the year, and communicating with them, not as often as you would your 1s and 2s, but your 3s, in order, you never know who knows who and who will refer. Hey, I went to this builder and it was a great experience. If you're thinking of building, maybe check them out. You never know. It's part of the referral process. So we want to keep those people in our database. We want to communicate with them on a less frequent basis, but definitely communicate with them. I just finished work with a builder that has an ABCD rating system. And I thought that one was really interesting for their prospects. A means their prospects are ready, willing, and able. B means their prospects are 2 of those, ready and willing, willing and able, ready and whichever 2. And C to them is 1 of them. The customer is ready, they're willing, or they're able. And then D is that community traffic to draw on for referrals, et cetera. And so salespeople using this form to really tell the story of who came in, what you're seeing for traffic. You're the only people that are communicating. You know, marketing might be a little bit communicating with people in the background as people become new leads to the company, but you're really the people that are telling the story of what's happening in the field. So use this document properly. And this is where I've really tried to get sales and marketing talking for years before inbound marketing. But now that relationship has to get even stronger. And that's all because of marketing's never been so effective. We've never been able to pinpoint prospects like we have before. And in turn, it's our most cost-effective marketing that we've ever experienced. This effectiveness is possible through the use of inbound marketing. So what is Smarketing other than a really cool term that some marketing people came up with by merging two words together? Smarketing is the alignment between your sales and marketing teams created through frequent and direct communication between the two. Most importantly, together, these two teams create mutually agreed upon goals that are measurable. Results should be revisited, and to measure success, identify opportunities for improvement on both teams. And not just improvement, but identify opportunities. You know, how many of us have went out to market with knowing who our target market is, and we reached that target market, but a subset target market maybe identifies itself. You know, you go out with when I was at Avalon, we went out with starter townhomes. We thought they were only starters. Well, it turns out that we had a lot of snowbird blue collar retirees like that product as well. They liked having their own front door. They didn't want an apartment building yet, but they're going away for several months in the winter, so they want the condo lifestyle. So identifying those things and seeing what opportunities have presented themselves. So communicating really frequently. So why Smarketing? Why now? Companies to continue to increase the percent of leads that are orientated from inbound marketing. Effective alignment of sales and marketing becomes a critical area of organizational design. If the two departments are managed as separate silos, the system fails. For companies to achieve and become leaders in their industries, it's critical that they're properly integrated. Pretty straightforward, right? I want to go through the difference of what inbound marketing and outbound marketing is, so that we understand. I want to put a caveat here if there's an asterisk. If any of you are joining us today that are as a media partner, a media supplier, I still very much believe in outbound marketing. I believe in integrated marketing campaigns. I'm talking a lot about inbound today, but I want you to know that I still believe in the power of mass media being part of our campaigns. I've personally run campaigns in recent years where we've only been inbound, we were a mix of inbound and outbound, and had great success at the campaign, to the point where people, and what happened is the prospects tracked that they said they came in through social media only. And so we got a little bit, oh, well, let's save the cost of outbound marketing. We were using radio and newspaper along with our social media. Let's save those costs and let's go out with another promo and just do inbound marketing. And we did. We just used inbound marketing, and we even had a better offer. The promo was better, but same kind of deal that you were getting that particular weekend, and we weren't as successful. And we realized that outbound marketing still has a very important role in marketing communications. That it is that, the people need to see us often 7 times before they take action. They need to hear about us. It's that radio in the background of the store that when you're there, you hear, oh, yes, that builder, I was going to check them out. It's that opportunity. So I want to say that I'm not against outbound marketing, mass media at all. I think that it needs to be part of your campaign. But here's the difference between inbound and outbound. The marketer in inbound, the marketer educates, where the marketer in outbound simply sells. All we could do in outbound marketing is put our message out there and see who comes in as a result of it. Where a marketer on inbound marketing uses content to educate, okay? In inbound, the marketing interacts with the audience. We have chats, we have registrations for newsletters and ebooks and all kinds of opportunities to interact with them. We have blogs where we can take comments. Where in outbound marketing, the marketer rarely interacts with the audience. The marketing team puts the message out there and waits for the consumer to come visit the sales team. Inbound, the most valuable content wins. So we need to get that content out that customers are caring about, and we'll talk about that in just a second. In outbound, the biggest budget often wins. Now, I've always worked for small builders, and I've never had a big budget. So sometimes you'll reap the benefit of those Goliaths on your show home parade that are spending a lot of money on marketing, that people will end up coming to you. But as a rule, the people with the largest marketing budget in traditional media do have the largest market share and are the biggest. In inbound marketing, the marketer gets permission from the customer to talk, and in outbound marketing interrupts the customer, right? It's that direct mail that shows up at our house as part of that mail. We didn't ask for it. Where in inbound, we see an ad, we click. If we want to know more, there's a way that we do it. We have to register. We have to make a decision. Where outbound marketing comes to us whether we wanted to see it or not. Here's the truth. 20 companies with strong marketing and sales alignment get 20% more annual revenue growth. And that comes in 2 ways. 1, more sales. because you're able to close more sales based on relevant content that stands with your customer, that makes a difference, that makes them want to make you pick you as the buying decision, and your brand, being able to charge a premium for your brand and your differentiation in the marketplace is the second way. We're going to talk about brand in a second, but I really believe in that customers, yes, there's a lot of price wars going on in the market. I know here in Alberta for sure, between builders, but there's also that desire for value, right? The best value. And so when we can put that message out there and work to create that value for our customers, we can actually charge a premium for our product. Inbound marketing definition. So by definition, inbound marketing attracts customers by creating valuable content and experiences tailored to them, called persona-driven content. Now, I want to talk a little bit about persona-driven content. It means ditching the content you want to create and producing the content you want your buyers to read. So I'm going to talk about brand in a few seconds, and I want to tie this back. I still think you can get your brand message across in this, but you have to make the brand message relevant. I come from Built Green, is where I was one of the initiatives I started in this market. You've heard of it. I went to Avalon because of their desire to be a green builder. It's why I joined that team and had success there with them. And we use content marketing a lot in Avalon. Ryan is still a leader in green building. Ryan Scott, my former business partner in North America, speaks about green building all the time. What we had to do when we were a green builder, there's lots of reasons people might choose a green built home. One of them being energy savings, one of them being indoor air quality, one of them being the environment. We were trying really to make people care about the environment so they would pay a bit of a premium. And consumers didn't respond to that. They still wanted to know how much money they would save. So if I kept writing articles about, hey, this saves the environment, it wasn't getting the response. People are saying, why would I pay more? I need to see the savings demonstrated as to why I would buy this energy efficient home. Now, some of the conversations are changing in the marketplace today. We have consumers that are more aware of their impact on the environment. Plastics is obviously a very big conversation that we're having, not so much related to home building, but customers and people are becoming more and more aware of resource use. So maybe that becomes more relative content. But at the time that I was doing the marketing for Avalon, if I spent a lot of time building content around, you should care because of the environment, it was wasted message. While outbound marketing interrupts your audience with content they don't always want, inbound marketing forms connections they're looking for and solves problems that they already have. And that's the essence of sales, right? Sales is taking a problem that a customer has and solving that problem. So brand message, I want to talk about this quickly. Adapting persona-driven content strategy does not mean abandoning your brand message. It actually means using it to enhance it. Brand development has never been more important. Brands provide peace of mind. Brands create differentiation. Brands add value. Brands give customers reasons to share. Okay, really important. And this and persona content-driven content marketing. Persona-driven content gives us the opportunity to get that brand message out there, to share what makes us different. It should enhance your brand, tell your brand story. In fact, inbound marketing always gives you the opportunity to strengthen your brand, so you can get that increase in revenue. Brand building process can be accelerated with comprehensive inbound marketing strategy. 3 ways to help build your brand. Be unique. It lets you talk about your uniqueness. Be loud and proud about what makes you different to the competition. Even in Alberta's, we've had a tough market here for a lot of years with the downturn of oil. It's a builder that I work with out of Edmonton, and they're still charging a premium because they are spending all of their time in their messaging talking about what makes them unique, their customer service, and they are still charging a premium. They've built that brand with inbound marketing. Be relevant, educational, and helpful. A big piece of creating a brand is helping your prospects and clients have a positive buying experience. This can be accomplished by doing less selling and more helping, right? If we give more information, we have to actually sell less, and we help solve their problem. We spend more time on that. Be visible. Inbound marketing will transform your marketing from one-on-one communication to one-to-many. Creating and publishing relevant content will exponentially grow your audience. And not only the case with just your consumers, like in the example of Avalon, Ryan became known as the green building industry leader largely across North America, and got opportunities to speak. That wasn't just the consumer marketing that got us there. That was us creating the content and people in different areas of the market, seeing it and relating to it, okay, and the opportunities that came. Here's the process of inbound marketing. What we really have at the beginning is strangers who see our inbound marketing, blogs, keywords, social publishing. They become visitors. So something about that blog makes them take a look, visit it, read it. What we hope to do then is convert them, that we have forms, call to action, landing pages where we get their email address, we get their additional information, turning them into leads. When they're leads, we put them into our CRM, we put them into our workflow, we make a plan around how we're going to follow up with this customer, hopefully close them into a customer. And then as they become customers, because we understand our customer-driven content, we enhance the customer buying experience. They become promoters of us through surveys, smart content, and social monitoring, and they actually help us sell to other strangers. That content they help us develop around, this is the builder that you can believe is the best at this. They are doing what they say they're doing. When sales gets involved in the process, we really come in here at this point of leads. This is when the differentiation, this is from when marketing takes those visitors, turns them into leads, and gives them to marketing, just so we understand that process. Types of inbound marketing: topical blogs, social media campaigns, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. I forgot Instagram for some reason on this one, but Instagram is always growing in popularity. We see ebooks. I don't know how many, I wish I could see you. I wish I was in person. But I don't know how many of you use ebooks as part of your marketing strategy, or even use them on a personal basis, right? You see an article, here's the top 5 ways. You can download this book for free if you just leave us our email address. Great way to control content. Great way to get your content into the consumer's hand and have them do something, give you information in order to give you information in order to get that information. And when we think of ebooks, we think of like a book. It doesn't have to be. It's really a modern day pamphlet of those top 5 reasons, top 10 reasons. If you're a first-time buyer, and you can have ebooks on a lot of different topics that can speak to different parts of the market. So a really great tool if you're not using them. Search engine optimization, SEO. So website text, making sure we have the right words to get us the right exposure on Google. Viral videos. Now, I laugh when I wrote this. Viral videos really are videos that we are hoping will go viral, but videos are a great way to communicate with people. I fundamentally believe, after spending time in customer service and sales, customers do not read. And video is a really great alternative to get some of those important messages out there. The irony of video is that you should close caption it, because people don't like to always listen to video, but they'll read it. So they won't read copy that we give them. We make a video and then put the copy at the below, and they'll read it. It's crazy times we're living in, people, crazy times. And then newsletters would be another example of inbound marketing. Why inbound marketing? Inbound marketing campaigns achieve higher ROIs, return on investments, than outbound techniques, regardless of your company size, geography, or budget. The explanation is pretty simple. Inbound marketing revolves around meaningful content, and content generates attention and can be shared easily. Opposed to some traditional mediums that are largely imposed marketing on people, inbound marketing leverages buying into order to attract, convert, and close and delight them. The other really great thing about inbound, in addition to being really able to target that customer through content, is we're able to make changes on a relatively short timeline. I used to work in an agency back in the day, Consumer Strategies Group, and there again on Mondays we would meet around that fax machine and look for our clients' traffic reports. And if they didn't have the traffic that we hoped for on the weekend, we had very few options to turn around. All we could really do was get a Calgary Sun or a Calgary Herald ad that weekend. Anything else at that time took lead time to put it in. Even radio took time, because we were sending CDs between agency and radio stations. Things were a lot harder back then, but we couldn't, and still some traditional media has lead time. We can't get that message out as quickly as we can with inbound marketing. We can change that message if it's not effective as well. So let me talk to you a little bit about the stats to make sure that you believe me about inbound marketing. Here's some of the marketing stats. 90% of searchers haven't made up their mind about a brand before starting their search. Only 29% of people want to talk to salespeople to learn more about a product, while 62% will consult a search engine. that is, I'm giving a lot of Calgary examples here today, but we are growing as a city very north to south. We're very long and narrow. We're getting a little bit more east to west development happening now, but we're very long and narrow. And to get through this city takes a long time. You know, when I did move here, I am a Saskatchewan girl, born and raised Estevan, Saskatchewan. When I moved here, you know, the old adage was you could be anywhere in 20 minutes, and that was the case. And now we're upwards of 50 minutes to an hour to some locations in this city. And so for people to come, and Calgary used to be very quadrant specific. If you lived in the Southeast, you stayed in the Southeast. If you lived in the Southwest, you stayed in the Southwest. Well, now people, there's so much choice in the marketplace. Consumers are checking out all the communities. Now they might be South specific or North specific, but they're checking out all of the communities. So when somebody shows up, when you look at that, only 29% are willing to go to the salesperson. If somebody shows up at your show home, you always, especially in times of COVID where we have to take precautions, et cetera, I want to, you know, I say to sales teams, they want to be there. Thank them for coming and make sure that you take control over the sales process because they made a big commitment by coming to you. I always say that too on days that it's blizzarding or really cold. I always, if I'm working with a sales team, I always like, if anyone comes in today, you know, they're a serious buyer. 47% of buyers view at least 3 to 5 pieces of content before deciding to speak to a sales rep. 87% of buyers give credence to content that's shared by industry influencers. You know, I was just listening the other day, I can't remember what I was listening about, but the media pointed out we were in an information age. We're now heading into an influencer age. Information is still really important content, but consumers like having those influencers backing it, people they admire, people that they associate with, that I'm similar to, they're recommending it for me. And so we're heading into the influencer age. So if you haven't looked at influencers as part of your marketing campaign, I guarantee that you will be in the near future, because 87% give more credence to content that's shared by industry influencers. Not to mention the results. So those are the marketing sides of things as to drawing people in. Let's talk about the results. Inbound marketing generates 3 times leads per dollar than traditional methods. Inbound costs up to 62% less per lead than outbound or traditional media. Persona-driven content generated by inbound increases the volume of sales qualified leads by 45%. And content marketing gets 3 times the lead that paid search advertising. Okay, so some impressive stats as to why to consider inbound marketing. So if we're going to use inbound marketing, we need our sales and marketing departments to talk like never before. And you're saying to me, I asked you to stick with me if you said, but Terra, my marketing and sales team already work really well together. And that's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Because again, you have to have proper corporate culture to encourage that type of relationship. But let me ask you a question. If I came to your office today and I took your sales team aside and I said, sales team, what are your goals? And they told me for the month, the year, the quarter, whatever it is. And then I said to your marketing team, I took them aside and said, marketing team, what are your goals? Would they be the same? And they should be. And if they're not, that's where we don't have Smarketing in place. Assuming, what if we assume marketing and sales are working towards, we often assume they are, but are they? What are your marketing team really looking with? What are they looking at? What are their team goals? What are they watching? Total traffic, total clicks, newsletter subscriptions, keyword performance. Are they getting those numbers and saying, boy, we brought them to them and now sales, that's up to you, right? Or are they looking at the ultimate goal? Did it, all of those prospects, did it result in sales? How many sales do we need to be successful in this organization in a month, in a quarter? How many prospects do we need on average to make the sales to make our goal? Do they understand the impact? Yes, there's prospects, but we need quality in it. I've actually seen organizations swing. It's so funny. I picked marketing when I was going to SAIT because it was a gray area. I'm not really a black and white person. I'm not scientific minded. I did remarkably well in math and statistics and calculus, but I'm just not, I'm a black and white person. I'm very gray. I like that I'm a creative thinker. And so for me, marketing there's multiple ways to get to the same end sales, to get to solve a problem. There's multiple ways that we can do it. It's why I've picked this. And it's so funny now that the industry I've picked because of the gray now has titles like what do we have? Like marketing scientists, data scientists. We have all of this information where there's actually becoming professions around interpreting data on the marketing side of things and becoming more of a scientific approach to marketing. Now, I caution in that I have seen some companies take it too far on the data side, where sales is saying, but these people aren't buying, and marketing saying, but these are the conversations you're having, we're getting great hits. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this presentation, of keeping the balance between, of the data and also what's actually happening. Okay, what's actually happening as far as sales and who's actually buying. I always encourage sales teams to step back and look at who's actually buying their home, who's writing the sales. It's, because a lot of times there can be those consumers that come out that look a lot like customers. They spend time in their sales centers, they come back multiple times and visit, they ask the right questions, but are they writing? I just finished at the builder. I just finished with one of the, we were having a brainstorming session in one of the classes. And the one gentleman, we were playing a game that I love to play called I Could Write This Prospect Today If. And we were helping each other out as to coming up with new ways to solve this. And he said, I have this really great prospect. He has 5 kids. He comes in. He's been in about 6 or 7 times. We know which floor plan he wants. We know what modifications he wants. He's just so busy. He never can come back and write the deal. And we kept asking him questions. Well, he's been in 6 or 7 times. Yeah, but he wants to sit down and really work through this. You know what? I would suggest, I didn't want to suggest to this gentleman in front of the clients, in front of the class, I don't think that that's really a buyer. I think they're acting a lot like a buyer, but if you step back and say, and look at it, they're not actually buying the home. So who's actually buying the home? Because sometimes there'll be those groups that come in that look a lot like they're going to buy, but they don't. And that's fine if we have time in the marketplace to work with them and identify them. But sometimes when we have that, if we're in a rush, or not in a rush, but if we have to make a choice between prospects that are standing in front of us that we're working with, pick the bird in hand, the one that's most like the customers that you're actually writing. I want to make sure everybody on the sales team is heading towards that same goal, that target, right? That target, and it has the dollar signs above it. That's revenue, that's sales goals. We're all going, no matter if we're in marketing or sales, we understand and we're heading towards it. And how we do that is we fill in this funnel, right? Marketing gets that funnel full at the top. And as we keep moving those qualified people through, it gets smaller and smaller until the awareness, the interest, the decision, and finally they become consumers by taking action. When goals and metrics and incentives align, teams work together to boost performance, enhance the customer experience along the entire funnel. And that is the beauty of this. When teams work together, you really can start cracking into the customer experience side of things too. It's kind of an added bonus as to here's where our customers are responding really well to and make it a better experience for them. It doesn't mean when they don't, department managers may unwillingly be working at odds. Assuming that every part of the organization is doing all they can do to feed the funnel and drive sales, drive results is no longer enough. If your organization sets individual goals and incentives by silo, you may be hurting rather than helping performance, okay? This image, like I said, I am from Estevan, Saskatchewan. If I wasn't in home building, I was probably in the agricultural side of things because that's the other part of my life. My dad was a John Deere dealer. For many years, actually, one of his stores was in Redvers, Saskatchewan, right close to the Manitoba border. But so many times we don't even realize that our departments are operating in silos from each other, right? That they have these separate goals. Marketing's looking at the total number of groups and saying, why isn't sales converting them? Sales saying, we don't have the right kind of traffic. Here's where I want to challenge you. This is the reality check. You've told me, Terra, my team gets along, they're working great. Did you know that 87% of the terms sales and marketing use to describe each other are negative? Unknowingly sometimes. And they say things like sales is simple-minded. That one was a bit harsh when I discovered that one. I don't know that I've heard that one, but I've definitely heard from marketing, sales is incompetent, sales is lazy. If people don't come in and give them their check, they're not writing the sales, they're not following up. They're just lazy. And then on the other side, people are saying about marketing, arts and crafts, irrelevant. They have no idea about business. They have no idea what it takes to make a sale, right? And these are things that they're saying about each other. Even a lot of times in environments where they get along, where they're in the same meetings together and everything seems to be working really well. When they step away and they look at their goals separately, these are the kinds of messages that might be happening. So what does sales say about marketing? The marketing leads are terrible quality. I could write today, but we have really bad quality. Marketing says sales doesn't work our leads. They're just really lazy and they're not doing anything with them, right? Those are actual, I know I've heard both of those from both teams. You probably have too, maybe even recently. So we want to develop Smarketing where these teams work together. They're focused on the same goal. They're communicating. Smarketing best practices are we align both marketing and sales around the same organizational goals. They have visibility of each other's department goals and results. Real time allows for real time adjustments, right? We're following is in real time. We're not just checking back at the end of the quarter. How was that campaign? How was the spring campaign? We're visiting it regularly. Compensation based on shared marketing and sales goals. It's everyone being rewarded on the same goals. I have experienced, and I in the organizations I've been a part of in the past, often marketing was considered, in an organization I was a part of, marketing was part of the profitability team if we were profitable. And sales was being bonused or incentivized or paid based on how many sales they got. And so marketing wasn't really as tied in as they should be to the sales goals. Yes, they were hoping for the sales for profitability at the end of the year, but how many of us know that you can make sales without being profitable? And so marketing was always driving toward this profitability goal, and unless management was talking about that on a regular basis, they really didn't know where they were. If we tied them to that sales goal and said, hey, here's where we need to be to get these sales for the company to meet other goals, it might be really transformational on getting them on the same goal and compensating them similarly, whether it be base compensation or bonus compensation. So these are 6 steps to sales and marketing alignment to getting Smarketing in your organization. I'm going to read out the 6 and then we're going to go through them together. Have sales and marketing meet frequently. Build multiple relationships between sales and marketing. Provide many types of feedback between marketing and sales. Agree on terminology. Implement a service level agreement. Use data to communicate. So the first one, having sales and marketing meet frequently. Now this might seem a little bit counterproductive. A lot of us are trying to cut out meetings now. Obviously in COVID times, meetings have become, again, check-ins on a regular basis so teams can stay together if you're not physically in the office space together. But a lot of times we're trying to get rid of meetings. It's an overall growing culture that people want, time to get the work done instead of just meeting to meet. And that's not what we're intending here. If you're going to, when you have regular meetings, what you need to do is keep the lines of communication open. Make sure the meetings are efficient, that they have an agenda. What are we hoping to achieve here? Make sure the right people are involved. How many of you have sat in meetings and either thought about yourself or other people in the room? Why were they here? What did they add? And as you're going through this marketing process and you're setting up these regular meetings, maybe you actually do that after the first few meetings. Did everyone here have value for being here? Or do we have the right people? Or were there some people that just didn't feel like this was the best use of their time? There's whole team meetings, plus there's smaller subset meetings. So the whole team comes together and also the smaller subset. Who should be in those meetings? Make sure they're scheduled standing meetings. I've mentioned before, I'm finding more and more salespeople are not taking advantage of prospecting and referrals like they used to, like they should. And so much of that is the fact they don't assign time to it. Things get busy in the show home and they don't assign time to it. They don't give it the time that they need every day. And if you don't give time to things, they won't happen. And so making sure those meetings are scheduled standing meetings. And what can happen when we have standing meetings after a while is we can be like, I have a standing meeting if we miss this week, and then it's easy to miss the next week and the next week. So make sure we respect those scheduled standing times, that even if we get together quickly and say, you know what, we don't really have anything to update. Here's what I'm working on. Here's what I'm working on. Break. Let's all go back to it and do our jobs. That's okay. We might have to do that, but keeping that time set aside for that meeting, keep it sacred, right? Just like in prospecting and referral development. Keep that time, salespeople, in your calendars. Make sure that you're giving it time. Otherwise, it won't happen. Build multiple relationships between sales and marketing. Too often, we are head-to-head. Marketing department talking to sales department talking to marketing. And we need to build relationships all the way through. Salespeople need to be able to reach out to marketing reps and with ideas. We need to foster relationships on all levels. Think about it. if my sales team has to come up to me and tell me an idea, then I have to think, oh, that idea is good enough to make the effort to go talk to the marketing manager. And the marketing manager has to believe it's good enough of an idea to take down to their team. Think about if we had lateral relationships along the way. That's where creativity really comes in, where people start brainstorming, coming up with ideas, working together, because we're and problem solving, right? Because they're talking about little things. Sales comes up with this idea. Marketing says, well, I don't know if that's possible budget wise, but what if we improve it to be like this? If we don't have those relationships on all levels of the teams, it takes a lot of effort to get it through this, right? Almost this U shape as to sales telling the sales manager, marketing manager down, making sure that those ideas aren't being squashed, that they're happening, that the relationships are being fostered, that information is being shared. Provide many types of feedback between sales and marketing. The goal is for everyone to feel empowered in giving feedback. And that feedback actually is used to make a decision to improve things. And let me read that again. And that feedback is actually used to make decision and improve things. How many times are we guilty of this, that we ask for feedback? I bet you some of us on this call, I know I'm guilty as charged at different times. We send out surveys to our customers. We pay survey companies to send out surveys to our customers. And when we get those survey results back, that feedback that we've asked for, as long as we're doing okay, sometimes we don't dive into it and say, what could we improve? Well, we're doing okay. We're busy. We're working in the business, not on the business. So so we file it away. When we're asking for feedback, make sure that we're using it for decisions for making decisions and improving things. The team might not always agree on the decisions are made, but at least everyone's heard. You sit around and you have a brainstorming session and sales comes up with some ideas. Everyone around the table comes up with ideas. At the end of it, we have to make decisions based on the resources that we have, based on the time frame we have, the money, the manpower, all of those things. We have to make the best decision. I love creative brainstorming sessions. And one of the keys to creative brainstorming sessions is that that you get all of the ideas out there, no bad ideas. And even those, and so sometimes when those ideas we don't use, we store them away for future. So we pick the couple that we're going to work on. So a team comes together, we all give our feedback. We have to pick what we're going to work on. So as a team leader, I maybe say, guys, we had a lot of great ideas in this session. Here are the two that we're picking because we had the most support for them. We have the money to accomplish them. We have all the resources that we need to. We can fit it in the timeline. And then asking the people that didn't necessarily agree, if we pick these, can you get behind them? You had really great ideas, and we're going to save them for potentially in the future. But based on our current situation, here's the ones we're going to go forward with. If we do this, will you get behind it? How awesome would that be if we did that every time we made decisions like that, right? Can everyone get behind it? Yes. And then if you ever hear grumblings, you're able to hold those people accountable to it. Feedback fosters trust. When people are heard, they don't always have to have their idea picked, but at least they're heard and they're understood. And giving them that feedback back maybe as to why we can't pick your option right now. It's a really good idea, but here's what we're facing that we can't pick it right now. Feedback allows teams to analyze which marketing sources are producing the most prospects and in turn the most customers, learn which marketing campaigns and messages are working and which aren't, understand how individuals' pieces of content you create contribute to closing customers. Got to be giving feedback and communication on this. Provide a timeline of the number of interactions a prospect took prior to taking action and becoming a consumer. And overall increased marketing return on investment and sales closing ratio. So these are all of the things that feedback allows us to talk about and make ourselves better. Agreed upon terminology. I have seen this as a downfall of teams too many times, and it's something as simple as making sure you're both using the same terms for what you're dealing with. The whole leads versus prospects, hold versus sales, making sure that everybody has the right definitions, the right terminology, and we're using the same. In fact, sometimes I've even used a swear jar before as to when people aren't, to try and break habits, to get everyone using the same vernacular all the time. Too many times people assume, well, if I say leads, he knows I mean leads, not prospects. And the other person's going, well, that must be a hot prospect if you're talking about a lead. And it breaks down the accountability, and it makes for confusion on the team. So making sure that we're agreeing on terminology, really great place to start. Implement a service level agreement. Service level agreement defines what each team's going to commit to in order to accomplishing the goal and supporting each other in the overall shared goal. So what might be marketing, their SLA to sales might be, okay, we're committing to get you a number of quality prospects required to hit the company's sales goals. Sales to marketing might say, to follow up on those negative thoughts that they say, those negative comments they make about each other's. Sales is going to say, okay, marketing, if you get us those, we're going to commit to, let's work through a timely follow-up, professional, timely follow-up that we agree that we will follow up to make the most of those leads that you've generated for us. And so both teams having to make a decision and commit to it to meet the goals. Marketing to sales, let's dive into that one a little bit more. How many prospects are required? Making sure marketing understands this. How many prospects does it take to write a conditional deal? Closing, how many of those conditional sales go firm? Cancellation ratios. What's the percentage of conditionals that cancel? And this is going to have to be salesperson to salesperson specific. You're going to have those emotional closers out there that their cancellation ratio is a lot higher. My style and the salespeople I don't say relate the most to, but my style, I'll say it like this, probably is people that have around a 30% cancellation rate. I know then that they're not picking just the low-hanging fruit. They're not order takers. They're getting some cancellations in, but they're still using that momentum to help them make more sales. Saying, I wrote 5, I put 5 on paper this week, even though in the back of their mind, either for sure 30% of them canceled, or they know historically 30% are going to cancel. They're using that momentum. It's not a lie. I put 5 on paper this week and creating some of that urgency. Some people are relationship closers. The builder that I also was working with recently, they have a salesperson that she almost didn't know what a cancellation was. She's a relationship builder. She could not imagine writing a sale on the first visit. Her closing ratios are great. She just doesn't have the same cancellation. And that takes, trust with the sales manager to know that she's not missing opportunities, that she's not just waiting for people to come in and say it. And so that's built after time. But doing these almost on an individual person by person, salesperson basis. All these factor into numbers of prospects required. The entire teams need to understand the numbers and what they mean. So the marketing will deliver this many prospects per month. And I say adjust seasonally, never just take the sales goal for the year, divide by 12 and say, well, here's how many prospects. We need to reflect the seasonality, right? We're still largely a spring and fall market in our industry. Summer people get busy. They often aren't visiting show homes, doing research. They're off away. And when it's cold, we both live in pretty cold climates. Where we're joining each other from today. And so there's a lot of times people don't move, right? And we might not sell as many homes during those periods. So making sure we adjust those numbers seasonally. So making sure the marketing team and the sales team agree on this. Marketing, you need to deliver us this many leads. From that many leads, we turn them into this many people sign up to prospects through our newsletter, through chat, through conversations, through appointments. And if we have 100 of these, in this example, we need 100 in order to get 10 customers. That's our closing ratio. So everybody understands exactly what the goal is for how many leads, prospects to turn them into customers. And then sales to marketing. How many, they're communicating. How many visits does it take for a prospect to decide to take action and write a new home offer? And so they're agreeing as to here's how I'm going to follow up with each prospect to make the most out of each prospect that you've given me so that we don't waste leads. Right? So we sit down and we agree together that this will be, of course, there's some customization in it as far as the exact, when you're dealing with a prospect in front of you, you may have to customize a little bit, but overall, this is the path and the journey that we'll take to make sure we get the most of our leads. Use data to communicate. Salespeople, oh boy. As a sales manager, my number one pet peeve is when salespeople come in and they say, everybody said this sucked this weekend. Everybody hated this. And I'm a kind of sales manager who I think you're probably getting the nature of me. I'm pretty outgoing. I'm pretty I always say to my sales team, there's not a lot that I won't do for you. If you're bringing back information to me and telling me about who's standing in front of me and who the actual prospect is and what you need as far as marketing support, I'm going to find a way to make that happen for you for the most part. It's when you come in and you say, everyone, always, all the time. Everyone that came into my show home all commented on how bad it was. Horrible. I look at you and I say, well, there's not much I can do for you. But if people come in and say, if salespeople come in to me and say, you know what, Terra, we had 15 groups in this weekend and 12 of them commented on how tight that bedroom is up there. I think we have a staging problem. Could we look at it? I'm going to be like, yeah, let's get in the car. Let's go right now to make sure we don't have an issue. Using data to not just everyone all the time, always. That's what we've done in the past. We're all guilty of it. I used to laugh at some certain companies I worked at that he, she, and they seem to come in the evenings and screw things up majorly. Because when we come back in the morning, it would be like, well, I don't know. They did this. He did this. And so making sure you're taking accountability and using data to convey our messaging. Marketing. So sales isn't allowed to say all the prospects sucked anymore. They're going to give some information. They're going to use that traffic report to say, here's the quality I actually got. Guys, of the people that you brought me, here's how many I actually think are going to be able to write that are good leads. And marketing isn't allowed to say sales is lazy without data to show that the prospects aren't being followed up with on time or multiple times. You're not allowed to say that. Hey, we're noticing some trends that as we watch the chats and things, it's going down. Are you busy? Do you need some support on that? Talking about some real numbers. This doesn't mean that informal qualitative feedback isn't useful. You still have a gut. You still, salespeople still know, hey, this isn't who's in front of me. We don't want to get so data heavy. Like I mentioned before, I see some companies going that way a little bit, where they're very data driven and they're not allowing salespeople to say, but here's who's actually coming in, here's who's actually buying. So keeping a balance of it, trying to use that data as much as we can to make that information real, to make that feedback real though, right? Rely on data, not emotions. Finger pointing never solves problem. Collaboration does. Use data to figure out what's wrong and fix it. Fostering Smarketing creates a team that is humble and open-minded, that is driven. When both teams get a hold of the goal, the common goal, and they're both pushing towards it, my word, can it be a powerful, powerful thing. There's nothing that's going to stop that team in that case. Objective-orientated, relevant and up to date. I've always, again, worked with small teams where it's like, we need to figure out today. If something's not working today, we need to figure it out today so we can change it today so our tomorrow can be different, so that we're as relevant and up to date as we possibly can be. Resourceful. This is what I think one of the most powerful things that will come out of Smarketing for you if you choose to adapt it. Excuse me, I'm just gonna have a quick drink. Is the resourcefulness that people are going to all of a sudden become more creative. They're going to think of ways to solve problems that you haven't seen before. When you let those different levels of those departments work together and really expand the idea process, how many thoughts there are, ideas, etc., you're really going to notice a change in the resourcefulness and the creativity of the team. You're going to have a team that's sincere to each other. We talk about feedback. That's actually one thing I would like to stop back to push back on is perhaps in the case of when we're encouraging feedback, we may have to have a coach come in and train teams on criticism, creative criticism, and how to take it. That we're not taking it personally. We're not making personal slams. We're actually working together as a team to give that feedback to make each other better, and so that we're open to it. And how do we give that feedback in a positive way that we can move forward instead of feeling like it's hurt feelings? So that might be something you need to do as part of as your merge into Smarketing, is if your team isn't naturally having some of that coaching on giving feedback. I think that is the end for me. As if you have questions, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear what you think. I was going to invite you earlier in the session I'm an informal instructor. I always say when I stand up in front of a PHBI course that I'm really just here to bring up a topic and to facilitate discussion around it. Online is amazing because I got to meet you guys without being in Manitoba today. But I love being in person where I can see and stop and ask questions. So please ask questions, give me comments. What do you think? And would love to hear from you.
Thank you, Tara. That was tremendous. Any questions? Feel free to, I think you can unmute your microphone and feel free to ask questions that you have of Tara. Nick, I know you had put in the chat room there that any questions could be asked there as well. Did we have any questions in the chat room?
Not right now. I don't see anybody.
I don't think I could have rendered everybody speechless.
No,
Actually,
and
I have some superpowers, but I don't believe that to be one of them.
no, and there was a ton of info there. So we'll just do kind of one last call for any questions.
Yeah. And feel free anytime if you had questions. I didn't put this as part of my presentation. Oh, it looks like we have one, but reach out, Terra T. Davidson at phbi.ca if you ever have questions. I always say at the end of every course that I teach is consider me, we're friends. I'm a resource in the industry for you. If you ever want to bounce ideas off, I am a really creative thinker. So please feel free to use me as a resource. Do we have a question?
This is Lisa and Ken from Dynasty Bathrooms. I was wondering if the presentation is also available like in soft copy where I can kind of go through the slides and pick and choose some information to put some slides together for our staff.
That's over to Lanny. Are you making it?
We are recording it, and we are going to post it on our Housing Forum webpage so that people can access it, the session, and watch it. But if Tara, if you'd be open to us having a copy of your slide deck, we can definitely distribute it to those who have registered.
For sure. Would love to share that with you. I am where I came from, where I spent most of my career. What I love about my former partners, Ryan, Scott, and Chris Williams, is we always wanted to share. We were green builders, but they always wanted to share the story, because the more we all do it, the better we get as an industry, right? And there's a level of competitiveness, I understand it, but there's also the level of, if we're all pushing in the same direction, we only become better as an industry. So happy to share that, because I would love to see as many people use this as possible to be the best versions of the company that they have. So
Great.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Tara. That was a tremendous presentation this morning. We really appreciate you sharing your expertise and your insight with us. Thank you to everyone for attending this morning's session. Our next session is being held on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock when Emily Karen will be presenting to us on the integrating air tightness to performance path, the cost-effective way to any energy target. So it'll be a technical session. Until then, thank you again, everyone. Stay safe and have a great day. Thanks.
thanks. We'll see you. Well, thank you very much for the feedback in the chat. Adam and Aaron, thank you very much. I appreciate that. They've just sent me some messages privately, so I appreciate that. I'll stay for another few minutes if anyone wants to come on and ask questions. Maybe it was the group that you didn't want to, but I'm happy to stay for a few more minutes as everybody logs off. And if you have any questions, I'm still here. Nick and I can still facilitate a few. Hey, Nick?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, it looks like a pretty quiet room today. So thanks, everybody. And we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.